Alrighty, good morning. Happy Wednesday for you guys at 6 a.m. at home. For me, it's 7 a.m. here in Montana. It actually feels so much later when it's 7 a.m. versus 6 a.m. Let's get our warm-up on. Just a nice, good general warm-up. We'll have some alternating upper body movements. We'll have some non-alternating upper body movements. So I would probably peg today as a little bit more upper body. We'll again have legs, we'll have abs, we'll have all those wonderful things. So let's get our warm-up on. Something you've done 9 million times. You've got your 10 regular squats. And I know this is a common starting point. Good morning, Malia. 10 regular squats. You got your hips, you got your glutes, you got your eyes, you got your thighs, you got your posture. You're turning on your glutes, like we already said, your hamstrings, your quads. You've got mobility of hips, knees, ankles, spine. There's some movement. 10 regular squats. You're then going to go into 10 alternating stationary reverse lunges. Mama D, if you have your bike, you probably want to pedal for like 5 minutes. 10 alternating stationary reverse lunges. That front leg gets loaded. That front leg stays loaded. And you pull yourself up. I wish I could give you guys a test to be kind of fun, but all the things we've talked about the last year and a half, pulling yourself up versus pushing yourself back. You're going to do that twice. So we're going to go back to our regular squats. And again, Mama D, if you got a bike, Brian, if your knee's bugging you, do some jumping jacks and sit-ups and get that body warm and loose. 10 regular squats again. Hips, glutes, eyes, thighs, posture, breathe. And that thing I talked about before, those toes should always be able to wiggle. It's not that your toes are up. It's not that you're on your heels. Your toes are just able to wiggle. And that's a great way to tell if you are on your toes or not. 10 regular squats and 10 stationary reverse lunges. We're just doing it twice. So 2 sets of the squats and 2 sets of the stationary reverse lunges. Hips. There's a lot of motion at your hips. There's a lot of movement at your hips. Your glutes. Woo, they should always turn on. And that is a good thing for their large population, is turning on your glutes. However, there are certain people that have too active of glutes, and it doesn't allow other things to work as well. But that's a little less common. 10 regular squats, 10 stationary reverse lunges times 2. And we're just going to breathe. We're not in a hurry. We have plenty of work to do. Monday was technically the pace, hard intensity workout. I gave it on Friday at noon at the gym, and that was linked for you guys to do sometime. Save it for rainy day. You'll be on the ground. Same idea. 10 sit-ups. Abs, core, abs, core. You can lay on the ground. You can lay on a ball. You can lay on a bench. You might as well lay on the ground because the combo is going to be easier on the ground. Your legs can be straight. Your knees can be bent. You can totally change that sit-up position. But outside of that, sit-ups have the same motion. All upper body motion abs have a similar motion. 10 sit-ups, and you're going to have your 10 slow runners. And we're going to do that twice. And breathe. And focus. We're not in a hurry. There is 0 benefits from going fast when the intent is turning on muscles, moving joints, activating, getting focused. And of course, I can't give JP a hard time because he's not here with me, but we all work out with JP. You can't fully say the name and be too mean, but so fast. Slow down. 10 sit-ups and 10 runners times 2. Breathe and focus. Your upper body is moving onto your lower body on a sit-up, whether you can sit all the way up or you can't sit all the way up. Make it as big as you can make, and make sure your abs are moving your body. And those runners, elbows to knees, not knees to nose. Abs, core, hips, knees, ankles. You're getting everything ready for today. Again, you're doing that twice. 10 sit-ups, 10 runners, times 2. You're chilling, you're working, you're breathing. We're gonna have one more part of our warm-up. That's where all of our joints are ready, our heart is ready, our lungs are ready, our soul is ready to get after it a little bit today. Not necessarily a crazy, intense workout. There's some variability based on how you're feeling today. When you get done, you're going to do 10 on our jumping jacks, which I never make people do jumping jacks. 10 on your jumping jacks and 10 Jack LaLannes times 2. So your jumping jack, again, I know it's 6 a.m., I know it's early. It doesn't need to be crazy. You got a little bit of movement. You are moving and displacing your body. Your legs and arms and hands and feet reach wide. You got a little bit of impact. We've been doing them since we could, right? 10 jumping jacks, 10 Jack LaLannes. You've got your dynamic, lengthening hamstrings, glutes, back. I'll even throw in your shoulders and your triceps, but you're using your arms and legs or moving your arms and legs via your shoulders and hip joints and muscles. Last part of the warm-up, 10 jumping jacks, 10 Jack LaLannes times 2. Breathe, focus, breathe, focus, work, work. Numerically, a little bit shorter of a warm-up at 120 total movements. Rhythmically, a little bit slower. So it probably felt long, but total movements was less for what you're quote-unquote normally used to. As you finish off your warm-up, get your space ready, mental and physical, for alternating chest presses, whether you lay on the ground, ball, or bench. We're going to do alternating chest presses, which is nothing magical unless you do have the tools of a stability ball or a bench, so you could potentially activate some core. I'll talk about that in a second. You're always going to do chest flies, so there's our superset per se. And since we're laying down, we're going to have abs this circuit. So Mama D, pretty conducive for the knee. Same thing, Brian, if you're still bugging at the knee, it's a less leg part of the workout. Alternating presses. If you don't have a tool to lay on, like a ball or a bench, that's okay. I want your legs in the air as you do your alternating presses. And that would go if you're laying on a bench too. Your flies, you'll always do flies. You can have your legs up or down. I'm not too worried about that one. Your alternating presses, the numbers are going to sound familiar. 30 total movements, 24 total movements, 18 total movements, 12 total movements, 6 total movements. You know I'm here with you. Your flies are always going to be 10. Always chest flies for 10. And then your abs are going to be the opposite, kind of. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 total reps. And it's any abs. So we're going to have some variability. Here we go, round 1. 30 total alternating presses. If you're laying on the ground like I am, I want your legs in the air. If you alternate from the down, you potentially can get more muscle activation, right? You can potentially have more motion. It's a smooth starting point, and you could get more chest. Alternating from the up is still good for you, so I want you to play around with it, but for the most part it is a little less chest. It's also a little less joint. When you do this at the gym, we can either do the same thing you're doing with dumbbells, or we can do it with the machine so we can have a lot more load. So alternating chest presses, you've got a lot of variability by what you're laying on, which will affect your motion and core, what you're doing with your legs, and then the actual tools. If you're doing this at the gym, you could be on the machine chest press and have more load. 30 total movements is 15 each side. Your flies, you'll always do 10 chest flies following the alternating presses. So there's a superset 2 exercises in a row involving the same muscle group, but you need to be mindful on those shoulder blades. Shoulder blades, shoulder blades, shoulder blades, chest. Shoulder blades, shoulder blades, shoulder blades, chest. Always 10 total flies. And then round 1 is also 10 abs. And I'm just going to use the word abs. You can do sit-ups. You can do reverse crunches. You can do V-ups. You can do toe touches. You can do bigger, slower scissors. Bigger, slower runners. Windshield wipers. Iso penguins. I don't mind any of those coming into play, but I want them to be slow, especially on the 10, because you're going to be right back on your chest pretty quickly. So everybody's going to be in a different spot. Everybody has different tools and positions. Your alternating presses, 30, 24, 18, 12, 6 total movements. You could count 15 down by 3 revolutions if you want to, but slow. Always 10 chest flies, and then your abs are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The benefit of going up on the ladder is that your chest increases the rest, right? You increase the duration of your rest for your chest. And maybe you can increase your load. Maybe you change your position. And again, if you're at the gym, you have a tool that yields a lot more load. Breathe and focus. Alternating presses. You're trying to get your chest, whether you're laying on the ground, ball, or bench, have as much motion, create as much motion as you can create. I want your core to turn on too if you're not using machine chest press. So the stability ball, you can have your feet super narrow and get unstable on a stability ball. On a bench or the ground, your legs in the air helps increase your core activation. So let's think about the core on the alternating presses, which is kind of why we're doing it. Some good chest activation. Your flies are always 10, but going back to the ground versus bench or ball, surface area, the width of the exercise, those are all going to affect your flies. And then your abs, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The rest of the chest is increasing in duration. So I'll let you focus a little bit. No rush, as you can tell, I'm here with you. Not running around the gym, working, breathing. Again, on those abs, I don't mind if you dabble between things. Just make sure it's slow. Windshield wipers and reverse crunches would be one of the longer motions. Toe touches and iso penguins would be some of the shorter motions. So play around with your duration and motion exercise choice. And again, just so you hear it, I'll hopefully talk and be a little bit ahead of you. Round 1 was 30 alternating presses, 10 flies, 10 abs, that should be done. Round 2 is 24 alternating presses, 10 flies, and 20 abs. Round 3 is 18 total alternating presses, always 10 flies, 30 abs is round 3. I'm talking like this to give a little power, a little focus. If you have abilities to increase your load on the press, please do. But load can come from physical weight or time under tension. So slow, big, alternating presses. Again, pressing from the down position, like I am currently doing, you potentially could turn on more chest. it could irritate joints based on how low you're able to go and what machine you're on. Alternating from the up is great. You still get chest. If you Googled alternating presses, you probably see more people doing the hands up position. And that's just because it is a little easier. I'll say the word easier. If I gave you the bench, you're at the gym on a machine chest press, you're going to be able to handle more weight safely from the up position. It's not that the exercise is easier, you're able to handle more weight in a safer position. Round 3, 18 total alternating presses, 10 chest flies, 30 on the abs. Don't be in a hurry. Working hard. Take your time, you're breathing, you're working. If you're doing the abs, you're focusing on that big, slow, concentric motion ab exercise. Sit-ups, you have so many different positions with your body and your legs. Your upper body's moving on your lower body in a sit-up. Reverse crunches is the opposite. Your lower body is moving on your upper body. There are a couple different positions with your legs and your body, but there's a little less changes. V-ups, big, powerful exercise. Sit-up scissors, toe touches, slow on those runners, windshield wipers. Russian twists are great. I would say less of a concentric ab, more of a core oblique rotational exercise. Great exercise though. Whereas the iso penguin, right, you crunch, there's the isometric ab, and then you have that lateral motion. Again, a little bit of a mobility of spine and oblique activation on an iso penguin. When you get there, round 4, now if you're way ahead, you're going to be waiting on me anyway, so slow that motion down. Round 4 is 12 chest flies, 12 chest presses, 10 on the flies, and 40 on the abs. When the circuit's over, we're going to do a timed core piece. We're going to end our ab circuit with core. Later on, we'll do some legs, and we'll finish off with that, and we'll have to make some adjustments. Round 4 when you get there. 12 total alternating presses, 10 chest flies, 40 on the abs. I never want you to feel penalized for not having heavy weights. It's never my intention. I want you to think about load being able to increase as the reps go down. And if you find yourself doing 2-second reps, slow it down to make sure you hit your 2.5 to 3 second reps. Concentric exercises are 2.5 to 3 second reps for the most part. Shorter motions will yield less duration, longer motions will yield more duration. You hit that 5 or more second number, that's when you start turning into an isometric exercise. An eccentric exercise. So that slower, longer, lengthening piece is more of an eccentric focus, which isn't a bad thing with lower weights. And then the isometrics start coming into play around that 10-second or more mark. Anyhow, round 4, 12 alternating presses, 10 flies, 40 on the abs. Just so I'm a little bit ahead of you and you know what's coming your way. Round 5 is the last round of the circuit. He or she who gets done, when you get done with your 6 total all training presses and your 10 flies and your 50 abs, you might as well start planking. It's not a penalty, but I'll tell you more as we get there because we're going to do it together so we stay together for a 3-minute plank challenge that we can move in our planks. And again, we're going to talk about it more as we get there. But if you're ahead of the curve, cool. When you get done with your 6 total all training presses and your 10 flies and your 50 abs, just start planking because everybody will be joining you soon. And if your pace is high, it'll slow you down. Round 5, 6 total all training presses, 10 on the fly and 50 on the abs. We'll be starting a 3-minute plank challenge here very soon. And during that challenge, clearly you have ways to not formally plank. Again, round 5, 6 total alternating presses, 10 chest flies, 50 on the abs, and then we have a 3-minute plank challenge coming up. So when you get done, just roll over and get into your plank, please. Alrighty, and when you get there, roll over to that plank position. When you get there. During your, and go and get started, right? When you get to that plank, or when you get under 50 abs, you're gonna get to your plank. During your plank challenge, right, today, you're gonna have 3 minutes of isometric core. So during a plank, right, elbows and toes is a low plank, hands and toes is a high plank. You've got your rotational planks. I do prefer them from your elbows, but you can be on your hands. You've got your plank swimmers if you need to do plank swimmers. You've got plank taps if you want to do plank taps. You've got elevator planks if you want to do elevator planks. For 3 minutes, I want you planking. And if you need to get out of that plank position, feel free just to lay on your stomach and do some swimmers or Supermans, unless you really want to roll over and do more abs. We're trying to use our core after doing 150 abs, okay? So it's 3 minutes, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm going to fess up to you. I don't have my timer, so I'm going to be counting in my head. 3-minute plank challenge. I hope you're already ready to go, either holding the elbows and toes, hands and toes, rotational planks, elevator planks, plank swimmers, plank taps. Let's go. And breathe. Elbows and toes, no neck, no shoulders. Breathing in your core. Breathing in the center of your body. Low planks are great. If I hooked your body up to electrodes, you would see the zinging of the core potentially more on a low plank. High planks are great. Hands and toes, it's good for you if you have bad elbows and shoulders, or it's just too hard to stay low. But if I had electrodes on your body, you would see a little less activation. Elevator planks kind of fit both. You got a little deviation, a little displacement. You want to keep something on your back. That's always a challenge. If I've ever walked by you and put a tennis ball on your back or a small weight plate on your back, you would keep that thing on your back as you go up and down, because swiveling and rotating and creating momentum are not the idea. Plank swimmers, again, great, hard, challenging exercise. Taking your time. Again, if I've ever put something on your back, we're looking for that movement shift. It would be really hard on a plank swimmer for that isometric position and not deviating out of position during that time. Rotational planks, again, great, slow motion. For most people, it's the movement they do during a 3-minute plank challenge if they don't want to hold an isometric, non-moving plank. I don't want to say it's easier, but for the most part, it would give you that rest you're looking for. Plank taps are great, but again, you're going to increase the challenge on your body during a plank tap. We got one more, so plank taps, rotational planks, elevator planks, plank swimmers. Those are all common movements. Heck, if you want to hang out and do a side plank for a couple seconds, again, isometric exercises start around the 10-second mark. So we're doing a 3-minute plank challenge, but during that time, you can always hold and count to 10 on one of your sides versus a slow movement exercise. Let's just say we have 30 more seconds. Again, I didn't bring my timer. Maybe I'll time myself later on and see how long we actually did. Breathing in the center of your body. You're working. Let's just say we've got 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax, and breathe, and focus. And of course, if you have a timer with you, you can always tell us how long we actually went. I'll time us later on, see what we get. The next circuit, kind of the opposite of what we did earlier, but I don't want you to get on and off the ground a million times. So your alternating biceps are replacing your flies. That'll be the 30, the 24, the 18, the 12, the 6. Always 10 rows. So now I have my pulling biceps with my hopefully pulling back. And it's supposed to be the legs version, the 54, the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Mama D, if you want to hop on the bike and do something for 30 seconds and 30 seconds and a minute, I can talk about it as we go. If anybody needs to do mobility, anybody can do standing scissors, standing runners, Jack LaLanne's. So I'm going to say almost anything goes on this circuit when it comes to moving and using your lower body to the best of your abilities. Here we go. Round 1, 30 total alternating biceps. Whether you sit tall or stand tall, don't be in a hurry. Biceps is a pulling exercise. Chest flies was a pulling exercise. But we were trying to do 2 things of chest earlier. The only way to get the back version is to have you guys get on and off the ground a million times for an alternating row and a lap pullover. Nobody wants to do that today. Yes, you're welcome. 30 total total alternating biceps down by 6. You got hammer curls if you want hammer curls. You got hammer curl the twist if you want hammer curl the twist. You got open biceps if you want open biceps. The key is you're using your arms on your biceps. When you get to your 10 rows, get low, get low, get low, core, 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 and row on your trap rows, your good middle back rows. And hopefully having tired arms from the biceps helps you focus on not using your arms, okay? 30 total biceps down by 6. Always 10 rows should sound like earlier. If you need a hand break, take a hand break. Your legs or anything non-upper body is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So I'm going to talk about squats and lunges and all the things, but you could do standing scissors, standing runners, Jack LaLanne's. You could do biking, cardioing, 30 second, minute and a half, blah, 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 blah. Now, if you don't need a hand break, you can hold weights during your legs. I'm not going to be upset about that. You could hold one weight with 2 hands. There's ways to have load without holding too much weight. And of course, if you have a bar, you can get a bar on your shoulders. You'd hold less hands there. Anyhow, round 1 and round 2 are a lot of upper body in a short amount of time. And of course, it changes as the circuit changes. Round 1, 30 total biceps, 10 rows, 10 legs. Round 2 is 24 alternating biceps. Always 10 rows. And then 20 on the legs. And again, I'm just going to say legs. The door is wide open to doing anything you want to do that moves your body. Breathe and focus. Different hand positions can happen with biceps. When we're alternating, you do need 2 tools, so having a bar would not help out very much. Rows, always 10 rows. If you do need a bunch of different weights, right, you could change the tool that you have on rows between TRXs and bars and dumbbells and cables and machines. Get low because of your core and your body, and you row with your good, strong back muscles. And then again, I'm going to talk about legs. Regular squats, wide squats, narrow squats, ball squats, box squats. At the gym, we have the sissy squats. And I meant to talk about it more. I don't expect to do it right now. But a sissy squat requires your toes to be supported. And I'm going to exaggerate, these are only 30 pounds. Right? That displacement, I couldn't have that displacement that I couldn't have without the weights on my toes. Whether you have plates on your toes or bar on your toes, or you're right next to the treadmill and you have your feet under something and really supported, that is a sissy squat. You are displaced. It's similar to a ball squat. You're getting way back there on a sissy squat. It's a training tool for deadlifts. Stability ball squats are kind of similar when it comes to muscle activation. You got any of your lunges, any alternating leg lunges and stiff leggeds and step ups. Of course, if you're at the gym, you have the leg press as a tool close by. When I do get these workouts at the gym, I try to condense the choices a little bit. So at the gym, when I say any legs, I'd probably make you do any of the similar legs you're currently doing with the tools you have versus bouncing around the gym everywhere. Round 3, when you get there, 18 total alternating biceps, always 10 on the rows. You'll then be on your 30 legs. And again, it could be mobility if you need to. Standing scissors, standing runners, Jack LaLanne's. If you have cardio, just do a minute of cardio. The first 2 rounds I had you do 30 seconds. The next 2 rounds you can do a minute, and the last one you can do a minute and a half or more if you're able to hear me. And again, I'm hoping that tired hands and arms from the biceps can help you really focus on getting your back, your trap rows. It can also hinder too. If my hands and arms are too tired, you're just going to focus on that and grip more. But the intent, those arms are tired, you got to focus on those back muscles. Round 3 is 30 on the legs. You could have a weight in one hand and mix up your hands as you do your legs. You can have one weight in 2 hands, so you're not holding as much weight. You can have a bar on your shoulders. You could use different tools to rest your hands. Just dabbling so you see all the little things. If you don't have a lot of space, right, you have the stationary legs. Regular squat, wide squat, narrow squat, ball squat, box squat, stiff-legged RDLs. You have your stationary lunges forward, backwards, lateral, all chaining stiff-legged, step-ups. Those are all confined area leg exercises. You can have walking forward lunges and walking reverse lunges if you want to lunge down the street if you don't have any room. I see garage doors that are closed, so must not be that warm there this morning. Or it's too warm, one of the two. I think it's pretty nice weather over there, isn't it? Been in the 80s or upper 70s. Round 3 was 18 total, alternating biceps, always 10 rows, 30 on the legs. Round 4 is 12 total, alternating biceps, always 10 rows. Hopefully the hands are relaxing so the forearms can relax so you can get your biceps and your traps. Of course, circuit 1 was abs in it with a core finish. Circuit 2 is legs in it with a isometric leg finish. So that's going to be coming here soon. We've had plenty of our body with our all training presses and our flies and our all training biceps and our rows. So lots of body there. Round 4, 12 all training biceps, 10 rows, 40 on the legs. You definitely want to diversify as you wish. And we have done lunge, squat before. So if you ever want to mix in that type of rhythm with a lunge, squat, you don't have to. I'm not telling you that's what we're doing today, but when those reps climb, a little diversity goes a long ways. Yeah, the Monday workout had a curl press circuit for biceps and shoulders with agility. The circuit 2 was stiff-legged rows, so similar-ish but different, with your plyometrics. We had planks and wall sits and obliques, but again, I knew not many people were going to do that workout, so you have some similarities today with some of the exercises like planking and wall sitting and the movements. Alrighty, you're gonna start hearing that information that we did earlier. Sound very similar. If you're a little bit ahead, awesome. You're gonna be wall sitting at the end of this circuit. And if you can't do wall sits, you also have isometric, squat, pulsating squats. And again, if legs are bugging, you can just hop on the cardio, do some cardio. Or, gosh, if you have time to stretch, what a great idea to stretch. However, you've got your 6 total alternating biceps last round. You've got your always 10 trap rows last time. You've got your 50 on the legs. If you've been squatting, cool. Regular squats, wide squats, narrow squats, ball squats, all the things are great. The wall sit will be very effective because it's so similar. If you've been lunging, great. You've got diversity between stationary reverse lunges and stiff-legged deadlifts that would get more hamstring glutes. Stationary forward and lateral and step-ups potentially would be more quads, which you'd probably feel more on the wall sit. So for the most part, we're doing all of these legs, and you have an isometric superset finish per se. When you get done, don't wait for me, get your buns on the wall, but at any time, you can always mix in pulsating squats or pulsating split squats if you needed to during your 3-minute plank challenge. Sorry, wall sit challenge. That was earlier. No more planking. We did it. And numerically, Monday's workout had 3 1-minute planks and 3 1-minute wall sits, right, Julie? And here we are finishing with 3 minutes of planking and 3 minutes of wall sitting. Muy interesante. Again, when you get done with the 6 total alternating biceps, 10 rows, 50 legs, get your buns against the wall and start wall sitting. We will do this together. And of course, yes, I'll fess up still. You're on my timer. So I got my 3 minutes going. We'll find out if it's exactly 3 minutes later on. You all know my brain. I have this little ticking sound in my head. So normally it's pretty close when it comes to duration and timing of exercises. I'll give you just another couple seconds, but when you get done, get your buns against the wall. Immediately, I want those legs burning. You just did 150 legs, and here you are going to jump into a 3-minute wall sit. You can do regular wall sits, your feet are shoulder width apart. Wide wall sits, your feet are wider. Narrow wall sits if you need to. You can even sneak in some calves during your wall sits. We're starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Now, during that wall sit, make sure your hips have a 90-degree angle. Your knees have a 90-degree angle. Your ankles have a 90-degree angle unless you're doing calves. You can always keep your heels off the ground for an isometric calf exercise, a non-moving contraction just like your wall sit. You could do concentric calves if you want to, with your heels going up and down. You can have your feet shoulder width apart, aka regular wall sits. Feet wider, feet narrower. At any time you can get off the wall and do some pulsating squats. But wall sits can bug some people's knees. And it can bug more people's knees based on where your feet are at. So try not to push against the wall. Try to sit or lean against the wall. That's number 1. Number 2 is looking down and making sure you can see your toes and your knees. Some people get too far away. Some people are too underneath. There's so many little changes on your wall sit position, especially when I can't see you, that can help the knees out. But I'm not going to lie. You're putting the second greatest force on a muscle. We're adding all that force on the wall sit on the quad, and it's going to yank back on your patella. Although intended to be a great exercise, it can bug people. So if you've tried all the things, hop off the wall and try some pulsating squats. Shake it off and stretch it and breathe it. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Breathing through your core, the center of your body. Keeping your butt, back, shoulders against the wall. 90-degree angle out of your hips, knees, ankles, unless you're doing calves. Feet positions galore. It is the second greatest force you put on a muscle, and right now it is primarily quads. You did get a little bit of hamstrings and glutes. We're going to say we have a minute to go. Sunshine or Leon probably roll their eyes like, oh, you don't have a timer. I bet you we're hovering around that. 50 seconds to go, give or take. Again, there's your pulsating squat. You can totally get off the wall if you needed to. Slow, low, slow, low. Almost an isometric exercise. Breathe. In your nose, out your mouth. Crave that recovery. 30 seconds. Quads, core, working. 20 seconds. Ten seconds. Again, 9, give or take. 8, 7, 6, 5. Harini doesn't like how I count. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe. Take your time getting off the wall. Don't fall off the wall trying to get off of it. So see what time it is. Oh, it's 7:50. It's 6:52. You guys just ended your workout. I haven't had a clock on me. Sorry, guys. I've been clockless basically this whole week. You guys have a great day. Happy Wednesday. You know my recommendations. If you have time to stretch, here's a great time to stretch. If you have time to elevate, get your butt against the wall and elevate. Hydrate, get that water, get those electrolytes in your body. Nourishment, get your good protein, get your complex carbohydrates. Nourish your body. I'll see you on Friday morning.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a wonderful day, Harini.